Hey, so this is just going to be kind of a refresher on some geometric notation. I'm going to use this diagram right here to identify some of these. So a line, the only thing that's important about a line is that it must continue infinitely in both directions. So right here, we've got a line. This is line AB, and the way that I would write that down is I would write this is line AB with a line over it and arrows going in both directions. You'll see, and it might help in a second when we talk about line segments and rays, how that's different. Right now, I would not call BC a line because it doesn't extend past B. I certainly could, if I wanted to, add on an extension past B to make it into a line, but right now I wouldn't call that a line because it's not there. A line segment is when you just have from some point to another point. So like right here, I have line segment DH. And to write that down, I would just write DH. Apparently I'm doing that in pink now. And that is just literally this line segment from here to here. That's what DH is. And it seems like a good idea to color code here, so I just color coded the AB and DH. There's a lot of other line segments here. Like you could also talk about line segment EG, which again, I would write as a capital E and a capital G, and I would put a line over it with no arrows on either end. It is also totally fine if you label this GE, either way. Line segments can go through points if you wanted them to, so I could actually talk all about line segment DG, all the way from D to G. I just drew that purple so that we could see it. Of like D all the way to G, there is that line segment as well. It just means start at this point here, go through or go all the way to this point or vice versa. So those are line segments. Rays start at a point and go through another point continuing off like this. So in this case, we could talk about ray BC. It starts at B and it goes through C, and you would write that down. In this case, the order does matter because I'm starting at B and I'm going through C, so the arrow goes over there. So the ray CB is not on this page because that would mean that I started at C and I went through B. So I can't see that here. Another ray that we have here is the ray EF. So those are the two visible rays, BC and EF. Okay, so that's kind of the difference, and really what you want to pay attention to here is the notation. Lines have arrows on both ends because it's extending past both of them. Line segments do not. Rays have an arrow on one end, and you make sure that it's like end point goes through, end point goes through, end point goes through. So those are lines, line segments, and rays. Angles, most often you need 3 points to name an angle. So what do I mean when I say you need 3 points to name an angle? So angles deal with, they are made up out of lines, line segments, and rays, and you need at least 2 of them. So for example, I might want to talk to you all about the angle right here. And really what I'm caring about is how far open is the rotation between BC and BE right here. And so in order to talk about that angle, I might call it angle B. But if I just said angle B, you'd be kind of confused because maybe I'm talking about this angle right here or this angle right here, or heck, even like this bigger angle right here. It's not totally clear. So if I want to specifically name this angle, we would call it angle. So we put a little angle symbol like this, angle CBE, or also totally fine to call this angle EBC. And the reason that it goes in that order is that you start kind of on one of the legs, one of the line segments or rays or lines that is making up the angle. You go to the vertex, B, and then you go out the other leg. So like CBE, notice the B is in the center here, and EBC, notice the B is also in the center here. So the B, this middle letter, is always going to be the vertex of the angle. So it's always going to be kind of in there. Finally, the last thing I've got on here are collinear points. Collinear points just means points that are on the same line. So for example, D, H, and E are all collinear. B and C are collinear, but for that matter, any 2 points are collinear. So it's most interesting when you have 3 points that are on the same line. So I might tell you that G, E, and H are collinear. Notice the word line is in here and the word co is in here. Co normally just refers to things that are, together. So lines that are together, that's basically it. So let me know if you have questions about any of these terms: lines, line segments, rays, angles, or collinear points.